But the second place we have to take this is if I've stopped a threat somehow, there's any number of ways that threats can be stopped. They can be physically basically set up so they no longer are physically capable. They've been rendered incapable of continuing a physical attack. They can also be psychologically stopped, right? I think an attacker can just decide that it's no longer advantageous for them to continue an attack. That happens more often than you think. And so for whatever way, if I've stopped an attacker, right, am I jeopardizing my primary objective, or am I increasing and working toward my primary objective if I approach that person to apply aid? That's my first question. And I think the answer is like super obvious. Probably I'm jeopardizing my primary objective under most circumstances, right? If I've stopped an attacker, if that attacker has been neutralized in some capacity at this point in time, then me saying I'm going to go check if that person needs some chest seals is probably jeopardizing my primary objective. So that's my first hurdle here is, can I consider rendering aid to this person without jeopardizing my primary objective? Yes, no. Does that imply you wanted that person to die? Well, how about this? You had medical and you used it. Does that imply consciousness of guilt, which is a legal doctrine that suggests that maybe because then you went to save that life, that was a way of you admitting that you did something wrong. You recognizing, oh crap, I shouldn't have shot this person. So now rendering aid, potentially I'm implying my own guilt by showing that I'm trying to save that person's life. The takeaway here, like if I'm starting to feel like I'm spinning in circles, the takeaway is not, can it be used against you in court? Assume everything you do is going to be used against you, regardless of which decision you make. To have medical, to not have medical, to have medical training, to not have medical training, to apply medical to yourself, to apply it not to yourself, to apply it to the attacker, to not apply it to the attacker. Whatever you make of any of those decisions, I assure you, that's up for grabs for the prosecutor to paint into the narrative that you're a bad person, what you did was wrong. You're killing somebody. Well, you might be thinking dead people don't sue. Well, then you're ignorant. You're clueless. Wrongful death suits are a thing. People's estates sue all the time. I have a brother who's an estate lawyer, and ask me if he's ever been involved in lawsuits over dead people, for dead people. It happens all the time. So you'd much rather be facing a lawsuit over having injured and maimed somebody by far than be facing a lawsuit over having someone die. The potential damages and payout is going to be way more substantial if your attacker dies. So there's a really clear argument in favor of rendering aid, is just simply put, you'd much, in my opinion, much rather your attacker live and survive than die.
Yeah, this concept of dead men tell no tales.
It's ridiculous.
If there's only one witness, then there can only be one story. That if you are the type of person who says that, we can't be friends. There is no world in which you and I can be friends on any level. To me, that is incredibly ridiculous. If you're operating from a position of integrity, then you don't have to only have that one story. I mean, they're going to have their own story anyway, no matter what. Everybody's going to have their own story. And something that I feel is an important ethos to live by is that which can be destroyed by the truth should be. And if I can be destroyed by the truth, I should be. So yeah, keep yourself righteous. Keep your ego in check, and then this will be far less of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we do see people who make good decisions and who are innocent who do get persecuted, prosecuted, and on a rare occasion even convicted because of a lack of good evidence or a crappy attorney or any number of issues there. So it's not black and white. But yes, if we act on good moral high ground, then it's my belief that 99 times out of 100, certainly, you're way better off in legal fight if they live than if they die. So that's an argument in favor. I'm not saying then like for sure jump on that person and start putting on tourniquets. I'm not going there yet. I'm just trying to point out some potential arguments in favor of rendering aid. Mm-hmm. Right, that I'm just better off if the person doesn't die. Legal things aside for a second, let's just talk about psychological issues. Would I rather live with the fact that I just took a life, or would I rather live with the idea that I injured somebody, potentially maimed somebody, but in defense of myself or loved one? Well, I'd much rather deal with having just injured somebody than having killed somebody. That seems no-brainerish in terms of my own psychological health as well, aside from the moral, ethical, and of course the legal things we already talked about. I just feel strongly that there's a rare circumstance, if any at all, where you'd rather that person die. It just doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, you might be a bad person. I'm not sure for thinking that. It's like, are we now convicting people to death? No, we're convicting them to no longer carrying out this attack against us. And what happens after that is not entirely our problem or our concern. However, if they don't die, that's better for us, in my opinion. I guess I should get off my little soapbox now.
I think it's better for everybody involved.
Definitely
personally.
better. Definitely better for
it's
everybody.
better for that person who's been shot.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many stories of criminals who have recovered and become excellent human beings because they were almost killed doing something they shouldn't have been, and this was their new start on life. Now, that doesn't, of course, happen across the board.
No.
But, everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody deserves to come back to the fold and to be good human beings. Jacob says no.
No, I think I think that what people deserve is a fair trial, and I think that what people deserve is justice. And I don't think that me deciding if they should live or die is justice.
Right.
I just don't think it's my place. I just think it's in my benefit if they live.
All right. I think yeah. And my point was just that I think it's in everybody's benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Both from a selfish perspective and a moral, ethical one, and from a legal one, like in every possible respect, it's better if they live. Okay, so I'm going to now backtrack a little bit. I've just gotten on this whole high horse about how definitely for sure it's better if they live, and I won't take that back. Been restrained, doesn't have any more weapons on him. Boom, tourniquets going on. Like, so could that happen? Yes, I suppose so, but it would seem to be a less likely scenario.
Yes. Now, I think there's two things there that I want to hit on primarily that you were talking about, and the first one was